logo is a little bit smaller, but that's good because I wanted more of the black finish on the cap there. So I was debating whether to do this a different color, but it might be difficult to mask it up, and if it doesn't turn out right, it'll look like a complete fail. So there you go. So typically I'm a big fan of buying factory parts. In most cases I'm a big factory nut. It's the best stuff. Well, I've had good luck with eBay center caps. I don't know if it's just one guy makes them and distributes them through everybody. It's even got a part number on the back. So it's a week later right now, and it's showing one of the Florida light rains, and you can see how well it beads up. I don't want to go outside because I don't want to get my camera wet, but you can see the paint beading right there. And what's nice about it is a quick rain like this, it'll actually clean the truck. It'll look like you just had a bath. Wheels look amazing, and then the tires going to go over to Dave. He's going to put the tires on. Meanwhile, we're going to still do the leveling kit, the fender flares, and the grille, and that back bumper. That hideous back bumper still has to be addressed, but it's coming along. All right, more LEDs, same brand, but just different LEDs. I'm hoping they're brighter. These are the fog lights, diode dynamics. Hopefully these are going to be better. I did actually watch some YouTube videos as described by one of our followers, kind of sent me the link, and they did a review on these. So I've already cut the tape. Let's take a look at these. These should have the better beam. I'm not going to touch these, but these have the driver too. They should be a direct plug-in. You just got to mount this. It is metal here. There's a metal sink. So these look a better quality already. Let's go ahead. It's still daylight outside. It's only 6:30. It's bright sun. But let's go ahead and install these and a couple of these, and then we'll circle back around when it gets dark. So I figured I'd show you on this side. The little heatsink there, the driver. There is a nice little bracket here that you can zip tie it to. And the fins over here will stop the zips sliding around. And then this is zip tied behind there so it doesn't flop around. But that way it's in the open, it can cool. You don't want to wrap this, you don't want to bury it. There is going to be a little bit of airflow in here, so it should help that stay cool. And definitely bright, even in direct sunlight they're bright. You can actually see the beam this time off, on. You see that? Now you can actually see it. I turn the headlight off. Headlight's still yellow, but you can see the cutoff. Now these actually have some kind of beam, so these are definitely improvement. We'll show these again when it's dark and you can see them, but so far that looks 1000% better than the last ones. It's hard to see because it's bright sun, but these are white light, so they're actually putting out a lot more light. It's way more noticeable right now. Again, it's bright sun, but you can see they're much brighter. So we got it this time. The 28 LM 740, the 6000 Exxon white. These are the back tail lights right now. So typically when you put LEDs in, you're gonna get this warning right here. You see it's flashing extra fast. You put on the right side, it's normal. Put on the left, flashes fast. It tells you probably got a bulb out. That's because the resistance is quite a bit lower. I'll show you the trick for that. Pretty simple. So you're going to install one of these. This is basically just a ginormous resistor. What it does is it takes up the voltage. The same wattage bulb, it would have a 221 watt bulb. Now the LEDs, let me turn that beeping off. The LEDs probably take 1 watt maybe, and it's used to taking 50 or maybe more. So by putting this across there, you're going to wire it from the ground to the output of the light. I'll show you real quick. Okay, so now the flashing is correct. It took 2 of the resistors. I put one in the top and one in the bottom just to make sure. I might have to add another one for the front when I do the front LEDs to make them correct and to stop the error code coming on, but now that is good. It's hard to tell in this light. Like I keep saying, it's so much brighter and more noticeable. This is the diffuser I'm talking about, possibly taking out. It's kind of like this lens there. If I take that lens out, I'll have to smoke them because this reflector will make the light so bright it will be dangerous. And it'll be the look I'm going for with a darker light, but not too bright that it's dangerous to drivers, but it should be very noticeable. I'll keep you in touch and up to date if I do that. I'm gonna see if I can trim that, if I can take the lens apart. I don't know, might be a little sketchy. All right, so new LED bulbs came in. I actually watched one of the reviews from a guy using a Colorado, and it was actually recommended by one of the followers. I forgot your name, but thank you for the guy that sent that. So these came out the best in the test. This is obviously aluminum, it's part of the heatsink. This too, and there is a fan in here, but these look pretty nice. And they're direct plug-in, and this should all fit inside that cover in the headlight. Alright, much wider. Because it's dark, you're not going to see the beam, but right now just the white looks a whole lot crisper. Still got to do these. These are the switchbacks. I'll let you know how they work out. And this is a 194 over here. Already did the fog lights, but that completes the white look, which is what I'm looking for. Gonna look so much better when that grille's gone. All right, guys, so I do want to show you these lights. It's 7 o'clock in the morning, so the sun is up, but it's not as bright over here. But you can see the beam there now, and it's white. I mean, I gotta tell you, these lights now are absolutely amazing. I'm not just saying that. They didn't give me the bulbs. I didn't get any special deal on these things. I actually watched the review where they tested 4 different bulbs, and these came out on top. But these are absolutely white. Let me show you a little clip from last night. I went driving around in my neighborhood just to see how they performed, and you'll see they're absolutely amazing. Alright guys, time for some changing. This should be more of a major change from the last few videos. So the grille, I want to get a good perspective right here of the grille in the front. Again, I'm not a fan of that grille. I know it's the upgraded from the base, I just don't like it. The other part is the rake. We're going to lift the front. We're doing what they call the leveling kit. Now this is different to a lift kit because we're not changing the back, because I think the back is fine, especially when it has a bigger tire. I think that is going to be good enough, but the lift basically raises the front. So let's get a quick measurement right now, just so we have it for a comparison. So, oh, look at that, I'm used to using this on our S2000s. All right, so rear is just under 37 1/4, we'll call that 37 1/8. Again, that's in inches for our European friends. That is about 4 kilograms and 2 Newton meters. So front, pretty much on the money at 35. So it's less than I thought. It's like a 2-inch rake. It looks more than that. Let's get an outside perspective. I've hated this bumper since before this truck even came into my possession. I just don't like it. It looks silly. It looks like an afterthought. It's the worst bumper on a pickup truck, period. And of course, it's got the matching hideous part here. So I have the GM fill-in pieces that you remove that step and put the plastic pieces in. I'll show you the part numbers and I'll show you the before and after. I'm hoping that gives it the look the way I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything custom. I don't like those fabricated, really heavy steel bumpers. I just want it cleaner. I mean, anybody else's pickup truck bumper is better than that one. And of course, the other thing is the fender flares. The wheels are not done yet. Once the wheels are done, the tires go on, but I want to put the fender flares on and be ready to kind of complete the look. So I'm going to do a quick walk around, and then when it's done, I'll try and recreate the same walk around. Alright, so pulling it in, we're starting to do the mods now. We're also going to change the oil. The oil should have been changed under 1,000 miles for the brake-in fluid, so we'll go ahead and do that now. We've got 815 miles on the truck so far. Alright, so this is what it looks like with the wheel off now. The lift kit, leveling kit, basically just spaces this guy under here. One cool thing, it does have a true 4-piston caliper in the front. Well, it's got 2 pistons on the backside, 2 here. It's not a slide-in caliper. Pretty cool. It's not a massive brake, but it's not bad for a little pickup truck. So I think yeah, sway bar link changes. This is going to go up, so it might be just this part here that they extend, or it might have a piece here. I don't know. Let's take the leveling kit apart, see what it comes with. Alright, so this is the leveling kit. I chose Ready Lift. These guys had some good reviews, so we got some polyurethane bushings. This is the main part of the kit, just a spacer. That's how much it lifts it up. And this is a spacer. This is probably the spacer we're looking at for the sway bar, and these are probably replacing these right here. So a pretty simple kit. That spacer is gonna basically space that down the amount we're lifting it, so it keeps that sway bar geometry correct. It's pretty simple. It's about as simple of a leveling kit as you can get. There is more extreme kits where it changes the control arm and springs and such. I'm not doing any off-roading. I'm doing this more for cosmetic reasons. I just want it to look even, so we're not getting that extreme. So this is a pretty inexpensive kit. This is the washers. I'll go with that too. Let me show you the part number, and if this is something you are following along. It says 2 inches in the front, so that spacer is obviously not 2 inches, but just in the relation the way it pushes the suspension down. Alright, so this isn't as simple of an install as I thought. It's not just a simple spacer that you put on the top, which most of the kits come with. You're actually taking the top hat off the shock. You're going to take the whole shock and spring assembly out, remove that top hat, and replace it with this top hat. So this is going to replace the factory piece. So it's probably a better way of doing it, but it's a more complicated way. So it takes it from being a really easy driveway installation to something a little bit more of a shop type install. So take the spring and shock out. This would be for if it was a 4-wheel drive, you take the axle out. Again, the instructions look like they're pretty clear. I mean, we can just glance over this and we know what we're doing, but it's nice that they take the time to put these really step-by-step instructions. So now I see that these poly bushings are for this. They're not for the sway bar. You're going to reuse the sway bar ones. These are the attachments for the sway bar for that spacer block, which is here. There's 2 sets of holes. You'll bolt that in, and then the sway bar will bolt to that. It's pretty standard. We've done this before. Interesting thing here is the frame is actually painted or powder coated, whatever it is, which is definitely a nice refreshing change. The full-size trucks, it seems like GM put this like tar slash paint slash black yuck on it, which just gets everywhere. I don't know what it is. Somebody can answer it. Some GM guy will say, yeah, that's a such and such. You're going to agree with us, it's awful. It just gets everywhere. It's like tar. Well, this is all painted, kind of like the Corvettes. The Corvettes, the whole frame is painted or powder coated. It's much easier to deal with, looks nicer. And of course, you don't track it everywhere. It's kind of like space grease, but the black tar version of space grease.
Walmart will require customers in all of their businesses.
So now we have the front end apart, bumpers off. We can change the grille. We're going to take obviously the lower valance off, or div whatever it's called. Got an idea with these headlights, so while it's off, make it a surprise, but you can tell me at the end what you think, and then I'll tell you what we did. You ready?
Right down there where my light is at, if you look down there, dead in the middle of the screen, that's your oil filter right there.
So yes, we sometimes use YouTube for a resource. It is a great resource, and it saves us a lot of digging around looking for books. So these new engines have put this big stupid cover on there just to make everything disappear. That doesn't help.
Plus to make it look bigger. You see how far back that thing is?
Does this just pull off?
It might.
No, it feels like it's bolted on. There's probably a bolt in there. Of course, that looks like it screws through there. Well, we're changing the oil, so let's take the opportunity to yank this off and see what this little tiny motor looks like. That comes off there. They really don't want you to take this off, do they? Alright, so that down there There is a bolt in there. There's another slot here. There's a bolt down there. Let's take this off. I want to see what the engine looks like. How crazy is that? The whole cover is the tube. What are they thinking with that? Is that the resonator box? That's probably what it is.
You can see like the little channels and stuff in there.
It's probably complicated as all, but
there's another resonator. There's another one.
Yeah, they don't want you to get rid of that big stupid cover, do they? And it's an ugly cover.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't look good at all. So this is what the little motor looks like. So you can see it's actually quite big for a V6. Big this way. It is a dual overhead cam V6 throttle body intake. So it's actually a pretty wide motor right here. Alright, so we put them together. We just used a friend of mine's shop, Jerry. Jerry, if you watch our videos, thank you so much for letting us use your facility. These were not a lot of fun. Every time you compress this, the shock wants to go that way, the spring wants to go that way. If you guys have done these, you know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of fun. We did put a mark on here, which is going to line up with the stud, which very important, something you should do. It will help you put it back together. If not, the orientation of this 3-bolt pattern versus the pocket for the shock there is not going to go together, and you're going to hate life. So that's the oil. Dark as all. 700 miles. Look at that. This dude don't change his oil. This guy's awful. Look at that. It's one of those paper filters. Way to go, GM. What's that?
Got some crap in it. It's
Got a
probably
receipt from GM?
looks like it.
Way to go.
That's the only good thing about these is you can pull them out.
Yeah,
and
you can actually see them.
peek through them without having to cut it open.
Let me be some guy on YouTube. That sucks. You should have bought a Dodge.
Yeah.
Next. That sucks. You should have bought a... Insert your favorite truck here.
No, they take the badges off it because you hate it.
Oh, I hate it. I was trying to trying to trick people.
Or make it look like a Tacoma.
So, hopefully you guys, the guys that matter, I hope you guys get our humor. We're not ripping on anybody. It's just, this is kind of YouTube comments, and it's something that you kind of get used to it, but it's still sometimes humorous. That's what the engine looks like from underneath. Wow, should have bought a V8, dude. Hey, don't say that too loudly.
I mean, look at this one.
Is there any crap in that one
From
too?
the auto parts store.
Way to go, GM.
GM. AC
brand is
Delco.
Oh, that's right.
And nothing in it yet. It's nice and clean.
Go roll it around there on a sander.
Just toss it in there.
Yeah, toss it. Rinse it in there, get it primed.
You want to look at this?
Is that how you prime the filter?
There's the cap for the filter. It doesn't quite fit through.
Yeah.
So I can shove that in there and then just snake it in enough to get it back in the top of that thing.
And you was telling everybody that your Civic has a terrible oil filter replacement.
At least this doesn't leak everywhere, but it's way worse.
Yeah, it's like, the only negative to that is the average dude that's like, hey honey, I'm gonna get up early Saturday and change my oil. Can you just leave me in the driveway for an hour? 3 hours later,
Truck looks like this.
truck's like this, oil's all over the floor. He's cussing, throwing wrenches.
Front end's off, lights are out.
He's like, I can't find the filter, honey. Just leave me alone. Remind me to tell you the story of one time I changed oil on my Corvette at home. It was a 10-quart system, and I had one of these that only held 6 quarts. Let me tell you how much fun that was. So the idea is to take all that step, crap, bolts, all that stuff, and there is a plastic panel replacement piece which we're trying to tweak to make it work. There is a rear backup sensor, and there's another sensor here that plugs in here, which we are modifying right now to look like that. So I made this little template to fit in here so that we can go back and hopefully match the other one, and then put these little slots in it. So see those right there? That's what we're using the file for, to clip that guy in there. All right, that is the piece. That looks so much better. That I'm happy with that. We had to re-drill obviously to get the sensor. I showed you that. But that looks 2,000% better than that. This just, I don't like it. I mean, it's not the ideal 100% fix, but it's definitely 99. This has a gap here because we need a different bolt in there. Someone's going to point that out. Hey, you got a gap. It fits when the bolt's back in. But that is 1,000 times better. I'm happy with that. I'm going to leave it. It doesn't bother me. It's not going to eat at me like the step. The step, every time I looked at it, I hated it so much, just wanted to get a saw and cut that off, which I actually thought about it. But that is the solution. I'll give you the part numbers for that if this is something you want to do. If you want a Colorado, if you don't want a Colorado, you probably don't have to worry about that ugly step, because it seems like it's the only one that has it. So funny thing is, one came from the dealership, the other one was on international back order. Ordered it off eBay, so I now have a left and a right. I'll show you the part numbers later, I promise. All right, I'm not going to show you too much right now. I'm actually trying to get the camera to go out of focus, but that's the slight change of the headlights. Wow, that's what we're looking at out here. I don't want to get the camera wet, but it is blowing and it's pretty yucky. It's right there, and I'll show you in a minute when it goes past. So maybe another couple of minutes, and right about there, a few minutes, it'll be gone. Alright guys, so it's late, I can't finish it. We got it back together, George stayed with me, we got the front end back together, got the grill on, did the headlights, took the valance off, got it back on the ground. The height looks good, but the alignment is off. I just see my quickie alignment machine here. I got the toe fairly close, a little alignment rope right here. I tied to the back, and again, this is just one of those quickie. Put that right here, just touching the back of the tire there, and measured here. We have about 11 millimeters on both sides when I get it right here. So it's okay, but this still has a little bit too much positive camber. Camber is measured this way, and the wheel is up and down. When it leans in at the top and leans out, it's leaning out, which means it has positive camber. It's too far off. And of course we have this monster storm right now, so I don't want to risk taking it out and having the camber all off and having a problem. So this is gonna have to stay here for tonight. The wheels didn't get done, the tires are over with Dave. Once he has the tires mounted, we can put the new wheels and tires on. Didn't get to the fender flares. We ended up changing a few little things along the way, but the height is good. I did a quick measure, and it's absolutely on the money. I mean, it's perfect. So the storm has passed. I'm gonna drive the Corvette home. Yes, I'm gonna break the Corvette rule, driving it in the rain and the wet roads, but you know, it's okay. It's easily cleaned up. So this still, we'll put this back. This is part of the box. This just looks stupid, but I don't care because I don't open the hood. The only time I'm gonna open the hood. That's actually kind of cool. It's got the Chevy emblem in there. The only time it's going to get opened is to change the oil every 3,000 miles, 3,500, something like that. So that doesn't bother me much. It's not like I'm going to car shows and popping the hood anymore. I wish there was car shows so I could pop the hood. Once we get it outside, you'll see the overall look, and I'm hopefully going to enjoy the way it looks. It's kind of a look I've been going for. There's still a couple of other things to go, but it should make a big change. That's it for this episode. Hopefully you're enjoying this build. If you are, don't forget, hit the subscribe, hit the like, all that good stuff. More to come. I'm going to show you the front end. I'm still playing with it. You can see it in the background. I'm not showing you too much details, but it's like 90% done. I'm really enjoying the truck. But another important thing is it's not expensive what I've done. I think the modifications right now, I've got about 1,800 bucks in it, including, I mean, everything that you see. So it's coming together. It's not a big expensive modification, but it's something you can do at home, and I think it really, really enhances the truck.